Part 4, The Reckoning. The defeat at Titan's Reach should have ended all challenges to Earth. It didn't. Instead, it made things worse. 23 species, led by survivors of the Coalition, formed a new alliance. They called it the Final Alliance, because this would be the last attempt to stop human dominance. Their logic was brutal and simple. If 4,000 ships failed, they would bring 10 times that number. Commander Nari coordinated the massive mobilization effort. Every shipyard in Alliance space worked around the clock. Every battleship, carrier, destroyer, and corvette that could fire a weapon was called up. They even took merchant vessels and fitted them with whatever weapons they could mount. The galaxy had never seen such preparation. The Final Alliance fleet grew week by week. 10,000 ships. 20,000. 30,000. The number kept rising. Intelligence Director Chang Wook of the Neutral Solon Confederation watched this buildup with growing fear. He managed to place observation drones near Earth's known positions. What he discovered made his blood run cold. Earth's first fleet had returned to Sol System, humanity's home. But instead of standing down, the fleet was taking defensive positions around Earth's outer planets. The humans were preparing to defend, not attack. That meant they expected the Alliance to come to them. But why would Earth let the enemy choose the battlefield? Unless they were confident they could win anywhere. 3 months after Titan's Reach, the Final Alliance officially declared war. Their message was broadcast across all galactic channels. Humanity has destabilized galactic peace, Alliance Supreme Commander Hyo Jin announced. Their military power threatens all free species. We offer Earth one chance. Surrender your war fleets, submit to Alliance authority, and your species will be allowed to exist under our protection. Refuse and we will destroy every human world. The Alliance fleet was ready. 42,000 warships divided into 7 massive battle groups. It was the largest military force in galactic history. Even human technology couldn't stand against such numbers. The journey to Sol System took 6 weeks, jumping through multiple faster-than-light transition points. The Alliance fleet moved like a mobile fortress ready for ambush at every stop. But Earth never attacked during the journey. When the Alliance fleet finally arrived at the outer edge of Sol System, they found Earth's first fleet waiting near Neptune's orbit. 40 human ships facing 42,000. Commander Hyojin opened a communication channel to the human fleet. This is your last chance. Surrender now or be destroyed. A response came, but not from the first fleet. Instead, Admiral Sang-hoon's face appeared on every screen in the Alliance fleet. He was an older man with gray hair and calm eyes. He looked like someone's grandfather. Commander Hyojin, Sang-hoon said pleasantly. You've assembled quite a fleet. 42,000 ships. I'm impressed, truly. Then you'll surrender? Hyojin asked hopefully. No. Sang-hoon's expression hardened. But I want to thank you for bringing so many ships to one place. It makes this easier. Makes what easier? Explaining something to the galaxy. You see, you've made an assumption. You've assumed the first fleet was the only fleet we had. Across Sol System, space began to ripple. Jump signatures appeared near Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Venus, and throughout the asteroid belt. Dozens of portals opening simultaneously. Ships emerged. Human warships identical in design to the first fleet. Another 40 vessels appeared near Jupiter. Then another 40 near Saturn. More appeared near Mars and Venus and in the asteroid belt. 10 more fleets. 10 full expeditionary fleets, each with 40 warships. Commander Hyojin felt his hope die. Earth now had 440 ships in Sol System. Still outnumbered, but not by nearly as much. And if one fleet could destroy the Coalition at Titan's Reach? 11 fleets, Sang-hoon said calmly. We've revealed 11 fleets. And before you ask, no, this is not all we have. This is just what we're willing to show you today. Every observer across the galaxy watched in shock. Analyst Yu-jin, broadcasting from a neutral station, spoke what everyone was thinking. 440 ships against 42,000. The math still favors the Alliance nearly 10-1. But math didn't help at Titan's Reach. If Earth has 11 fleets, how many more are hidden? Admiral Sang-hoon didn't wait for the Alliance to attack. All 11 Earth fleets accelerated inward, forcing the Alliance to split their forces. The 4th Fleet, commanded by Admiral Dae-jung, engaged the Alliance left flank near Jupiter. The 5th and 6th Fleets hit the right flank near Saturn. The remaining fleets drove straight into the Alliance center. The Battle of Sol had begun. The Alliance's massive size became a problem immediately. With so many ships in close proximity, they got in each other's way. Vessels blocked each other's firing lanes. Collision alarms sounded across the fleet as ships struggled not to crash into each other. Earth's fleets moved in perfect coordination. Their artificial intelligence systems allowed them to fight as one organism. Each fleet targeted key enemy vessels: command ships, carriers, ammunition transports, and fuel tankers. The Alliance learned about weapons they'd never seen before. Human ships deployed graviton mines, devices that created artificial gravity wells, dragging ships out of formation and into collision courses. Hacking programs infiltrated Alliance computer systems, causing navigation errors and weapons malfunctions. Some ships simply shut down completely, their crews helpless as their systems crashed. Then came the drone swarms. Unlike piloted fighters, these autonomous craft numbered in the millions. Each drone was small and cheap but deadly. They carried shaped charges and kinetic penetrators designed to breach hulls. The drones moved in perfect coordination, overwhelming point defenses through sheer numbers, and the newest weapon, Nova torpedoes. Enhanced antimatter warheads with yields 10 times greater than Hellfire torpedoes. A single Nova could destroy a super dreadnought. Admiral Sun He commanded the 5th Fleet near Saturn. Her tactical officer reported targets: Alliance battle group concentrating near Saturn's rings. Approximately 3,000 ships. Deploy Nova spread, Sun He ordered. Maximum yield. 6 Nova torpedoes launched from the 5th Fleet. They detonated in a precise pattern, creating overlapping spheres of destruction. 800 Alliance ships ceased to exist in less than 10 seconds. 12 hours into the battle, the Alliance had lost 15,000 ships. Earth had lost 37 vessels, less than 10% of their force. Commander Hyojin watched his fleet fall apart. They were losing. Despite numerical advantage, despite months of preparation, they were losing badly. He understood the horrible truth. Earth hadn't revealed 11 fleets out of necessity. They'd revealed them to send a message. This was Earth's way of saying, "We have enough power to crush you completely. Stop testing us." But how many more fleets did Earth have hidden? 20? 50? The possibilities were terrifying. The Alliance began a fighting retreat, trying to withdraw to the outer system. Earth's fleets pursued relentlessly, picking off stragglers. Ships that fell behind were destroyed quickly. 70 hours into the battle, over 30,000 Alliance ships were destroyed or disabled. The remaining 12,000 were scattered across Sol system, most badly damaged. Hyojin had lost. He knew it, everyone knew it. He opened a channel to Admiral Sang-hoon. "We surrender unconditionally," Sang-hoon nodded. "Smart choice. All Alliance vessels will immediately power down weapons and engines. Remain in your current positions. Earth medical ships are being dispatched to treat your wounded. Ships that require emergency repairs will be assisted. Any vessel that attempts to flee or fires weapons will be destroyed." "Understood," Hyojin replied quietly. "And Commander," Sang-hoon added, "when you return home, make sure your people understand something. Earth deployed 11 fleets today. We have more, many more. Tell them that the next time someone attacks us, we won't show restraint. We won't accept surrender. We will end the threat permanently." The transmission ended. Across Sol system, Alliance ships powered down. Human medical frigates approached, treating wounded even among their enemies. Earth's mercy surprised everyone. They could have destroyed the entire fleet but chose not to. The Battle of Sol was over. Earth had won decisively. But more importantly, Earth had revealed enough power to make any future attack unthinkable. Ambassador Insu stood before the reformed Galactic Council days later. Her message was simple. "You've seen 11 fleets. You think that's everything we have?" She paused. "Earth currently maintains 37 active expeditionary fleets. 11 defended Sol, 26 are deployed elsewhere, and our shipyards can build 15 more within 2 years." The council chamber was silent. "Earth doesn't want war," Insu continued. "We want peace. We want trade and cooperation. But understand this, we will never be vulnerable. We will never be weak. And we will never bow to any authority but our own." She smiled slightly. "Now shall we discuss the peace treaty?" The galaxy had learned its lesson. Earth wasn't just powerful. Earth was overwhelmingly, impossibly powerful. And Earth had been holding back the entire time. The age of human dominance had begun. Part 5. The New Order Sol system became a massive processing center. 20,000 disabled Alliance vessels floated in carefully organized orbital patterns around Earth's outer planets. Human teams boarded each ship, documenting crew and equipment. Medical frigates moved between vessels, treating wounded Alliance personnel. Commander Minji oversaw the entire operation from a command station near Mars. She watched as Alliance crews were processed, fed, given medical care, and prepared for return to their homeworlds. "The Corvin captain from Sector 7 wants to speak with you," her assistant said. Captain Bay appeared on the screen. His face was bruised and bandaged, but his eyes were alert. "I need to ask you something, Commander." "Go ahead," Minji replied. "Why are you being kind to us?" "We invaded your home. We tried to kill you. Why treat us like guests instead of prisoners?" Minji considered the question carefully. "Because we're not monsters, Captain. We defended ourselves, we won. But we don't torture prisoners. We don't abuse the helpless. That's not who we are." "Your people fight like demons," Bay said quietly. "Maybe," Minji agreed, "but we're still human. And humans have rules about how to treat prisoners of war." Bay shook his head in wonder. "I don't understand your species. You're the most terrifying warriors I've ever seen, but also the most merciful." "That's what makes us dangerous," Minji said with a slight smile. "We know when to fight and when to show mercy. We're not mindless killers. We're professionals." Peace negotiations began at the Galactic Council Station. Ambassador Insu led the human delegation. She faced representatives from the former Alliance species, all looking defeated and scared. "We're here to discuss terms," Insu began. She displayed a document on the main screen. "These are Earth's requirements for peace." The terms were straightforward. All Alliance military vessels would be disarmed and escorted out of human-controlled space. The final alliance would formally dissolve. Each species would negotiate separate peace treaties with Earth, and reparations would be paid for the invasion attempt. "But we don't want to cripple your economies," Insu added. "Reparations will be reasonable and paid over 50 years. We're not interested in vengeance. We want stability." Ambassador Mireille of the Solon Confederation spoke up. "What about your military fleets? Will you reduce them now that the threats are gone?" "No," Insu replied flatly. "Earth's military strength is non-negotiable. We'll maintain our current fleet levels, but we promise those fleets will only be used defensively." "How can we trust that?" someone asked. "Because we've had the power to conquer you from the beginning," Insu said. "We didn't. We could have invaded after Kepler's Edge. We didn't. We could have destroyed the entire Alliance fleet at Sol. We didn't. Earth's actions speak louder than promises." Over the following months, the galaxy began to reorganize itself around the new reality. 3 clear camps emerged. 20 species formed the Earth Alliance. Most were smaller civilizations or species that had been oppressed by larger empires. They saw Earth as protection against aggression. Ambassador Mireille led this faction, negotiating close economic and military cooperation with Earth. 15 species declared strict neutrality. They wanted independence, refusing to antagonize Earth but also not seeking alliance. The Drexel Corporation became their primary contact with Earth, facilitating trade while maintaining neutral status. 8 species formed what remained of the resistance, core hardliners from the Corvin hierarchy and remnants of the Velkar Empire who refused to accept Earth's dominance. They weren't strong enough to fight openly, but they began covert operations, sabotage, espionage, propaganda. On Earth itself, debate raged about humanity's role in galactic affairs. The question was simple but critical. What should Earth do with its power? Senator Hyunwoo led the isolationist faction. "We didn't go looking for the galaxy. We should build strong defenses and stay behind our borders. Let the aliens solve their own problems." General Kyung-mi led the imperialist faction. "We're the strongest power in the galaxy. We should use that strength to reshape galactic civilization according to our values: freedom, equality, justice." But Admiral Sang-hoon and Ambassador Insu proposed a middle path. "We can lead without conquering," Sang-hoon argued in parliament sessions. "We can protect without controlling. We should engage diplomatically, share some technology, and use military power only when necessary." After months of debate, Earth Parliament approved the cooperation doctrine. Earth would engage with the galaxy through diplomatic and economic means primarily. Military force would be reserved for self-defense and protecting allies. Earth began carefully sharing technology with allied species. Not weapons, but tools for improving daily life. Human medical advances revolutionized galactic healthcare. Diseases that had killed billions across the centuries became curable. Regeneration technology allowed species to recover from injuries that would have been fatal before. Human agricultural methods increased food production dramatically. Worlds that had struggled to feed their populations suddenly had surpluses. Famines became rare. Earth also shared defensive technology with close allies. Upgraded shield systems and point defense weapons gave smaller species the ability to defend themselves, but Earth carefully controlled what was shared. Faster-than-light drive technology, antimatter weapons, and advanced artificial intelligence remained human secrets. Not everyone appreciated Earth's generosity. The Resistance Corps saw it as manipulation, making species dependent on human technology. 6 months after the Battle of Sol, the Resistance struck. Coordinated terrorist attacks hit Earth civilian targets across 3 star systems. A suicide bomber destroyed a civilian transport station, killing 300 human colonists. Mining colonies were sabotaged, causing cave-ins that killed workers. Trade convoys were ambushed and destroyed. Earth's response was measured but devastating. Intelligence Director Ji Sung had been monitoring resistance communications for months. Within weeks of the attacks, every major resistance cell was identified and located. Special operations teams, led by Commander Tae Hee, conducted surgical strikes. They didn't invade resistance homeworlds or target civilians. Instead, they went after specific individuals: resistance leaders, coordinators, weapons suppliers. One by one, resistance commanders died in precise strikes. A bomb planted in a ground car, a sniper shot from 2 kilometers away, a hacking attack that caused life support failure on a space station. Earth's message was clear: attack our civilians and we'll find you personally. Within 6 months, the Resistance Corps collapsed. The surviving leadership accepted exile on a remote world far from human space. They were allowed to live, but stripped of power and influence. 5 years after first contact, the galaxy was transformed. The Earth Alliance consisted of 23 species experiencing unprecedented prosperity. Human investment in technology created an economic boom. Living standards rose across multiple worlds. Crime decreased as basic needs were met. Educational opportunities expanded. The Galactic Council reformed with Earth as a permanent member. Rather than military dominance, the new council operated on consensus and mutual respect. Earth had veto power but rarely used it, preferring negotiation to force. Cultural exchange flourished. Human music, literature, and art spread across the galaxy. Earth cuisine became popular on alien worlds. Likewise, Earth experienced an explosion of alien cultural influence. Humans learned alien languages, studied alien history, and adopted alien customs. Most importantly, the Long Peace began, with Earth's fleets ensuring no single species could dominate militarily. Large-scale war became unthinkable. Regional conflicts still occurred, but nothing approaching the massive battles of the past. 10 years after first contact, Admiral Sang-hoon retired. He spent his days at Earth's orbital station, watching ships come and go. His granddaughter Ye-jin often visited him there. "Grandpa, why are there so many alien ships?" the 7-year-old asked, watching a massive Corvin transport dock at the station. "Because we're all friends now," Sang-hoon replied. "But you fought them, right? Teacher said you were in a big war." "I was," Sang-hoon admitted. "We fought because they didn't understand us. They thought we wanted to conquer them. We had to show them we just wanted to be left in peace." "Did you win?" "Yes, but winning the war was just the beginning. The hard part was building the peace afterward." Ye-jin watched as Corvin crew members waved at her through a viewport. She waved back enthusiastically. "I'm glad you won, Grandpa. Now we can be friends," Sang-hoon smiled. "That's exactly what we fought for." 50 years after first contact, the Festival of Unity was held at Earth's orbital station. Representatives from 73 species gathered to celebrate decades of peace and cooperation. Ambassador Su-yun, who had succeeded In Su, delivered the keynote address. When Earth revealed its fleets, the galaxy trembled in fear. Today, those same fleets patrol space not as conquerors, but as guardians. We proved we could destroy. Then we proved something harder. We could build. In the shipyards of Sol system, construction continued. But not warships. Colony vessels were being built. Massive ships designed to carry mixed crews of humans and aliens to new worlds beyond known space. Joint exploration missions pushed into uncharted territories. Part 3. The Gauntlet. The Coalition fleet gathered at the edge of Titan's Reach. 4,000 warships from 17 different species filled the space around the staging area. Each vessel was ready for combat, weapons charged and shields at maximum power. General Taeyang stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Corvan battleship Justice's Hammer. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of every coalition ship. 800 Corvan battleships formed the core of the fleet. 600 Threxian carriers prepared to launch thousands of fighter craft. 450 Melkari siege platforms powered up their graviton weapons. Thousands of smaller vessels, destroyers, frigates, corvettes, filled the spaces between the larger ships. Status report, Taeyang commanded. All ships report ready. His tactical officer replied. The humans have not yet arrived. Taeyang felt confident. Yes, the humans had destroyed the Velkar at Kepler's edge. But the Velkar had been arrogant and unprepared. The Coalition had studied the battle recordings. They knew human tactics now. They knew human weapons. And most importantly, they had numbers. 40 human ships against 4,000. The math was overwhelming. Military analyst Junho watched from a neutral observation station far from the battle zone. He was broadcasting live to billions across the galaxy. His voice was tense as he described the scene. This is the largest military fleet ever assembled, he said into his recorder. Ships from 17 species united for one purpose, to prove that Earth can be beaten. The humans claim they're bringing their first fleet, the same 40 ships that destroyed the Crimson Armada. If they somehow win today, the psychological impact will be enormous. Space rippled as jump portals opened. One by one, human ships emerged from faster-than-light travel. The Sol appeared first, Admiral Jiwoo's flagship. Then came the other vessels, destroyers, cruisers, and the mighty battleship Incheon. Exactly 40 ships. Commander Yunji, Jiwoo's tactical officer, studied the Coalition fleet on her screens. Admiral, they outnumber us 100 to 1, I noticed, Jiwoo replied calmly. She opened a communication channel to the entire Coalition fleet. This is Admiral Jiwoo of the United Earth Space Navy. You've assembled an impressive force. Last chance to withdraw peacefully, Taeyang laughed. Your arrogance will be your death, human. All ships, advance. Show them the power of the Coalition. The massive fleet began moving forward. 4,000 ships accelerating toward 40. On paper, it should have been a massacre. But not the massacre Taeyang expected. The human ships didn't retreat. Instead, they accelerated forward at speeds that shouldn't have been possible. Human inertial dampening technology was centuries ahead of galactic standard. The forces that would have crushed alien crews into paste didn't affect the humans at all. The first fleet scattered into smaller groups. 7 ships formed each hunting pack, and they moved through space like wolves through a herd of prey. All fighters launch, Taeyang ordered. The Threxian carriers opened their bays. Thousands of fighter craft poured out, small and fast, designed to overwhelm larger ships with swarm tactics. They headed toward the closest human destroyer, the Gwangju. What happened next shocked every military expert watching. The Gwangju's point defense systems activated. Hundreds of small laser turrets tracked the incoming fighters. The human computer systems could target and destroy hundreds of craft per second. The fighter swarm approaching the Gwangju simply evaporated. 2,000 fighters gone in 90 seconds turned into expanding clouds of debris. All ships, open fire, Taeyang shouted. The Coalition fleet unleashed everything. Plasma bolts, particle beams, missiles, kinetic rounds, thousands of weapons firing at once. Space lit up with weapons fire. The human ships danced through it all. Their shields absorbed hits that would have destroyed alien vessels. Their armor shrugged off weapons that could crack mountains, and when they fired back, Coalition ships died. A human hunting pack targeted a Corvan battleship. Railgun rounds punched through its shields like they weren't there. Energy beams carved through armor plating. A Hellfire torpedo struck the battleship's reactor. The ship exploded, taking 3 nearby vessels with it. Another pack attacked a Threxian carrier. The massive ship tried to turn away, but it was too slow. Human weapons tore it apart in less than 2 minutes. Thousands of crew died before they could even reach escape pods. The Melkari siege platforms opened fire with their graviton weapons, experimental technology that could crush ships with artificial gravity fields. One beam hit the human cruiser Busan. The ship's shields flickered and dimmed. Damage report, the Busan's captain shouted. Forward shields down to 40%, someone replied. Hull breaches on decks 3 and 4. It was the first real damage any human ship had taken. But then the Busan's sister ships focused their fire on the Melkari platform. 3 Hellfire torpedoes hit simultaneously. The platform ceased to exist. 1 hour into the battle, the coalition had lost 300 ships. The humans had lost none. Taeyang couldn't believe what he was seeing. His carefully planned attack was falling apart. The humans were too fast, too accurate, too deadly, but he refused to surrender. The coalition still had numbers on their side. All remaining fighters concentrate on single targets, he ordered. Overwhelm their defenses. Thousands of small craft swarmed toward the human battleship Daejeon. So many fighters that even advanced point defenses couldn't stop them all. Some got through. Missiles and energy weapons hammered the battleship's shields. For a moment, it looked like the tactic might work. The Daejeon's shields began to fail. Then the human ship released something new. Drone swarms. Unlike fighters that needed pilots, these were small, automated craft. Millions of them poured from the Daejeon's launch bays. Each drone was equipped with shaped charges and kinetic penetrators. They intercepted the fighters, destroying them by the hundreds. Within 5 minutes, the fighter attack collapsed. The sky around the Daejeon was filled with debris. 6 hours into the battle, half the coalition fleet was gone. 2,000 ships destroyed or disabled. The humans had taken moderate damage on 3 vessels, but none had been destroyed. Coalition crews began to panic. Some ships broke formation and tried to retreat. Others stopped firing, hoping the humans would spare them if they played dead. General Taeyang watched his dream of galactic unity through military force crumble. The humans were going to win. The coalition would be humiliated worse than the Velkar had been. He couldn't accept that. All ships, this is General Taeyang, he broadcast. We may fall today, but we will take them with us. Activate suicide protocols. His crew stared at him in shock. Sir, you can't be serious, and do it. Taeyang screamed. We'll show these humans that we're not afraid to die. The Justice's hammer turned toward the Soul. Taeyang set his ship's reactor to overload. He would ram the human flagship and detonate his reactor at the same time. The explosion would be equivalent to a small nuclear weapon. Even human shields couldn't survive that. The Justice's hammer accelerated at maximum speed, heading straight for Admiral Jiwoo's ship. On the Soul's bridge, alarms blared. Admiral, the Corvin flagship is on a collision course. Their reactor is overloading. Jiwoo's eyes narrowed. Emergency thrust now. The Soul's powerful engines fired. The massive human battleship moved sideways with impossible agility, dodging out of the ramming path. The Justice's hammer flew past, missing by less than a kilometer. Then Taeyang's reactor exploded. The Justice's hammer disintegrated in a massive blast that vaporized 3 nearby coalition ships. But the Soul was far enough away to survive. With their commander dead, the coalition fleet's spirit broke. Ship after ship broadcast surrender. Some captains abandoned their vessels entirely, fleeing in escape pods. Admiral Jiwoo accepted the surrender. Cease fire, she ordered. All coalition ships, power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Your crews will be treated according to galactic conventions of war. The Battle of Titan's Reach was over. 4,000 ships had attacked 40. Less than 1,200 coalition vessels survived intact. Earth's first fleet was battered but victorious. Analyst Jun Ho, still broadcasting from his observation post, spoke in a shaken voice. I've just witnessed something that will be studied for centuries. The humans didn't just win. They dominated. This wasn't a battle. It was a demonstration. Admiral Jiwoo broadcast a message to the entire galaxy. We did not seek this conflict. We ended it with minimal loss of life. Let this be the last time any species tests humanity's resolve. Earth wants peace, but we will defend ourselves without mercy. On Earth itself, Admiral Sang-hoon watched recordings of the battle. He nodded slowly. The First Fleet performed well. Now it's time to show the galaxy the full truth. Should we deploy the other fleets, sir? An officer asked. Not yet, Sang-hoon replied. But soon, very soon, he knew what was coming. The coalition's defeat would not end the challenges. Other species would see human victory and think the same thing. If 4,000 ships wasn't enough, then they would bring more. Earth needed to demonstrate overwhelming power. Not one fleet, not 2, but enough fleets to make any attack unthinkable. The galaxy thought it had seen Earth's full strength. It was wrong, very wrong. Part 2. Earth's Shadow. The intelligence officers worked around the clock, searching through every database in the galaxy. They needed to know about Earth and its people. What they discovered was terrifying. Researcher Kyung-Soo presented his findings to the Galactic Council 3 weeks after the Battle of Kepler's Edge. He looked tired and scared as he began his report. Earth is a small planet in an unremarkable star system, he explained. We had detected it centuries ago but classified it as a primitive world. Our scans showed industrial age technology. We thought they were at least 1,000 years away from space travel. You were wrong, Ambassador Bonhua said flatly. Very wrong, Kyung-Soo agreed. Earth has had space travel for over 300 years. They've been hiding from us deliberately. They created false signals to make their planet look primitive. While we ignored them, they were building. He displayed images of Earth on the main screen. It was a beautiful world. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. It looked peaceful. But the data told a different story. Earth's history is violent, Kyung-Soo continued. For 10,000 years, humans fought each other constantly. Wars over territory, resources, religion, politics. They developed weapons technology faster than any species we know. The council members leaned forward to look at the historical records. What they saw shocked them. Humans had invented gunpowder weapons thousands of years before achieving spaceflight. They created bombs that could level entire cities. They developed biological weapons that could kill millions, and then they invented nuclear weapons. Bombs powered by splitting atoms, each one capable of destroying a city in seconds. They used these weapons on themselves? Ambassador Hyun asked in horror. Yes, Kyung-Soo replied. They fought 2 global wars in the span of 30 years. Then they had smaller nuclear exchanges during what they call the Cold War. And then came the Century of Fire. The Century of Fire was Earth's darkest period. A massive global conflict that lasted 40 years and killed over 2 billion people. Entire regions became radioactive wastelands. Biological weapons created plagues that wiped out populations. For a time, it looked like humanity would destroy itself completely, but they didn't. Instead, the Century of Fire changed them. The surviving humans realized they had 2 choices: unite or die. They chose unity. Engineer Hae-won, a human who had emigrated to Council space years before the war, stood to speak. The Council hadn't known there were already humans living among them. Hae-won had kept her origin secret. My ancestors survived the Century of Fire, she said. They created the Unity Protocol, a single world government dedicated to one goal. They decided humanity would never be vulnerable again. Vulnerable to what? Bonhua asked. To anyone, Hae-won replied simply. They knew they couldn't be alone in the universe. They knew that when they met other species, those species might be hostile. So they prepared. The preparation was massive and secretive. Earth built hidden shipyards in deep space far from their home system. They constructed facilities inside asteroids and on rogue planets, worlds that drifted through space without orbiting a star. No one would find these places by accident. For 300 years, Earth built ships. Not exploration vessels or science ships. Warships, each one designed with a single purpose: to win battles against enemies with superior numbers. Admiral Ji-woo, who had commanded at Kepler's Edge, visited the council to answer questions. She was calm and professional, showing no aggression or hostility. Our first expeditionary fleet encountered the Velkar by accident, she explained. We were conducting a survey mission when Commander Jae-hyun's vessels approached us. We attempted peaceful contact. He responded with demands and then weapons fire. So you destroyed his fleet, Bonhua said. We defended ourselves, Ji-woo corrected. We used minimum necessary force. We could have destroyed all 20 ships in the first 5 minutes. Instead, we disabled 12 and allowed 8 to retreat. We wanted to send a message, not commit genocide. And the Crimson Armada? Ji-woo's expression hardened. The Velkar chose to escalate. They brought 800 ships to destroy 30. We couldn't allow that attack to succeed. We fought back with everything we had. One fleet, Ambassador Hyun said quietly. You destroyed the galaxy's most powerful armada with one fleet. Yes. How many fleets does Earth have? Ji-woo smiled slightly. Enough. That answer terrified the council more than any number would have. The galaxy began to split into different factions. Some species wanted to make peace with Earth immediately. Others wanted to fight. And some wanted to simply hide and hope Earth would ignore them. Ambassador Mireille of the Solon Confederation led the peace faction. The Solin were a gentle species who had suffered under Velkar aggression for centuries. They saw Earth as potential protectors. The humans have shown restraint, Mireille argued in council sessions. They could have invaded after Kepler's edge. They didn't. They're offering peaceful contact. We should accept. General Taeyang of the Corvan hierarchy led the opposition. The Corvan were a warrior species who respected only strength. They saw Earth as a threat to galactic order. If we accept human dominance now, we'll never be free of them, Taeyang declared. We must unite every species in the galaxy. Together we can match human strength with numbers. Merchant Prince Wu Jin of the Drexel Corporation took a third path. The Drexel were traders who cared only about profit. Wu Jin quietly began negotiating trade deals with human colonial outposts, making huge profits by acting as intermediaries. Let the warriors fight, Wu Jin told his associates. We'll do business with whoever wins. 3 months after Kepler's edge, Earth sent its first official diplomatic mission. Ambassador Insu arrived at the council station aboard a small corvette called the Busan. She was a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor. Her security chief, a man named Seung Ho, accompanied her everywhere. Council security scanned the Busan and discovered something disturbing. The small corvette had power readings equivalent to a heavy cruiser. This little ship could fight vessels 10 times its size. Insu's message to the council was simple and direct. Earth wants peace. We want trade and cultural exchange. We want to learn from you and share what we know. But understand this. Any species that threatens Earth or attacks our citizens will face consequences. What kind of consequences? Bonhua asked. Proportional ones. Insu replied with a slight smile. Not everyone accepted Earth's terms. General Taeyang refused to bow to human demands. In secret meetings, he began organizing a coalition. 17 species agreed to contribute ships to a massive fleet. They would strike Earth's home system directly, overwhelming even human technology with pure numbers. The plan was called Operation Cleansing Dawn. 4,000 warships would attack simultaneously, hitting Earth from multiple directions. Even if the humans won, they would suffer terrible losses. It would prove that Earth could be hurt, could be beaten, but the Corvan made a mistake. They underestimated human intelligence capabilities. Agent Yan He had infiltrated Corvan military networks months earlier. She was part of Earth's intelligence service, a ghost who moved through alien space without being detected. She intercepted messages about Operation Cleansing Dawn and transmitted them back to Earth immediately. Earth's response surprised everyone. Instead of fortifying their home system, Admiral Young Sik broadcast an open message across all galactic channels. Every species could hear it. We've learned about your planned attack, Young Sik said calmly. 4,000 ships against Earth, that's impressive. But we're not going to wait for you to come to us. We're offering you a chance to prove yourselves in fair combat. He designated a neutral zone called Titan's Reach as the battlefield. Bring your 4,000 ships, Young Sik continued. We'll bring one fleet. The same fleet that fought at Kepler's edge. We'll see who's still standing when it's over. The challenge stunned the galaxy. General Taeyang couldn't refuse without looking like a coward. He accepted. The Corvan coalition began moving their fleet to Titan's Reach. 4,000 warships from 17 species, all converging on one location. It would be the largest military gathering in galactic history. But across Earth's hidden shipyards, something else was happening. Admiral Sang-hoon, Supreme Commander of Earth's military, gave orders that would change everything. Prepare all fleets for deployment, he said quietly. Not just the first fleet, all of them. His officers looked at each other nervously. Sir, are you sure? If we reveal our full strength, the galaxy needs to understand something, Sang-hoon interrupted. They need to know what they're dealing with. One fleet destroyed the Velkar, but we need to show them that wasn't even close to our full capability. We need to end these challenges permanently. How many fleets should we send to Titan's Reach? Sang-hoon smiled. Just the first fleet as promised. But after they prove themselves again, we'll show the galaxy something they'll never forget. The stage was set. 4,000 ships would face 40 at Titan's Reach. The galaxy watched and waited to see if human confidence was justified or suicidal. They were about to learn that Earth never bluffed. Part 1. The arrival. The emergency lights flashed red across the council chamber. Representatives from 47 different alien species filled the massive room, their voices creating a storm of panic and confusion. At the center platform stood Admiral Taman of the Velkar Empire. His blue skin had turned pale, and his forearms trembled as he spoke. "The Crimson Armada is gone," he said quietly. The room fell silent. All 800 ships, destroyed in less than 3 hours. The Velkar Empire had ruled this part of the galaxy for 2,000 years. Their military power was absolute. Their fleets were unstoppable. Until today, Ambassador Hyun from the Threen Collective stepped forward. Her insect-like body clicked nervously. What enemy could do this? The Melkari? The Corvin hierarchy? No, Taman replied. They call themselves humans, from a planet called Earth. 2 months earlier, everything had been normal. Commander Jae-hyun had been leading a routine patrol near the Outer Rim territories when his sensors detected something unusual. Energy signatures that didn't match any known species. He sent a message to his superiors and moved closer to investigate. What he found changed everything. 37 warships hung in space, their hulls dark and angular. They looked nothing like the curved, organic designs most species used. These ships were all straight lines and sharp edges, covered in strange symbols and markings. The letters UESN were painted on each hull. Jae-hyun tried to establish communication. A human face appeared on his screen, 2 eyes, flat nose, strange smooth skin. The human spoke in a voice that was calm and clear. "This is Captain Do-yoon of the United Earth Space Navy destroyer Incheon. You have entered territory claimed by Earth. State your purpose." Jae-hyun felt insulted. Some unknown species was making demands of the Velkar Empire. He straightened in his command chair. "I am Commander Jae-hyun of the Velkar Empire. You will submit to Galactic Council authority immediately and prepare to be escorted to the nearest council station." There was a pause. Then Captain Do-yoon spoke again, and this time his voice was cold. "Earth recognizes no authority but its own. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this space. After that, you will be removed." Jae-hyun couldn't believe what he was hearing. He gave the order to power weapons. His fleet consisted of 20 Velkar destroyers, each one capable of destroying a small moon. These humans would learn respect. The battle lasted 17 minutes. Jae-hyun watched in horror as his ships exploded one after another. The human weapons were like nothing he had ever seen, metal projectiles moving so fast they punched through shields and armor at the same time. Beams of pure energy that cut ships in half. Missiles that moved like living things, dodging every countermeasure. His own ship took a hit that tore through 3 decks. Alarms screamed. Fires broke out. Jae-hyun gave the order to retreat. Only 8 ships made it out alive. When Supreme Commander Sung-ho heard about the defeat, he went into a rage. The Velkar Empire had never retreated from anyone. These humans had humiliated them. He would make them pay. Sung-ho assembled the Crimson Armada, the largest battle fleet the Velkar had ever created. 800 warships, including their pride and joy, the massive dreadnought Eternal Dominion. The dreadnought alone was 5 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy a continent. "We will crush these humans," Sung-ho declared. "We will show the galaxy what happens when you challenge the Velkar Empire." The Crimson Armada jumped into hyperspace, heading for the coordinates where Jae-hyun had encountered the human fleet. They arrived at a location the humans called Kepler's Edge, an empty region of space between 2 star systems. The human fleet was waiting for them. Admiral Jiwoo stood on the bridge of the flagship Seoul. She was a small woman with short black hair and calm eyes. She looked at the approaching Velkar fleet on her display screen and smiled slightly. 800 ships, she said to her tactical officer. "They really want to make a statement. Should we call for reinforcements?" Her officer asked. "No," Jiwoo replied. "We'll handle this ourselves." The human fleet had only 30 ships at Kepler's Edge. The Velkar outnumbered them more than 26 to 1. Sung-ho felt confident. He ordered his fleet to advance in a standard battle formation. What happened next would be talked about across the galaxy for generations. The human ships didn't try to run. They accelerated forward at impossible speeds, moving so fast that Velkar targeting systems struggled to lock on. The human vessels split into small groups, each group targeting specific Velkar ships. The first weapons to fire were railguns, massive cannons that launched metal slugs at nearly the speed of light. The projectiles hit Velkar shields with such force that they simply punched through, continuing on to tear through armor and hull. Ships exploded from single hits. Then came the energy weapons. Focused beams of directed energy carved through Velkar vessels like a hot knife through butter. Shields that could stop plasma cannons and particle beams were useless against these weapons. But the worst were the torpedoes. The humans called them Hellfire weapons. They were antimatter warheads, each one containing enough destructive power to vaporize everything within 3 kilometers. When a Hellfire torpedo hit a Velkar battleship, the ship and everything around it simply ceased to exist. Sung Ho watched in disbelief as his armada fell apart. His ships were dying by the dozens. The humans moved through his formations like sharks through a school of fish. Every shot they fired hit its target. Every torpedo found its mark. He ordered his dreadnought forward. The Eternal Dominion would show these humans real power. The massive ship's main cannon charged up, a weapon designed to crack planets. It fired. The human flagship Soul simply moved out of the way. The dreadnought's shot hit empty space. Then 3 human ships focused their weapons on the Eternal Dominion. Railgun rounds hammered the dreadnought's shields. Energy beams carved into its armor. A Hellfire torpedo detonated against its bow. The Eternal Dominion, pride of the Velkar Empire, broke in half and exploded. 2 hours and 47 minutes after the battle began, the Crimson Armada was destroyed. Only 19 Velkar ships managed to escape into hyperspace. The human fleet had not lost a single vessel. Back in the council chamber, the representatives listened to Admiral Taemin's report in stunned silence. Finally, Ambassador Hyun spoke. "What do these humans want?" "We don't know," Taemin replied. "They sent one message after the battle. It said, 'We did not seek this conflict. Do not seek another.'" Ambassador Bonhua, head of the Galactic Council, stood up slowly. "We need to know everything about these humans. Where they come from, how many ships they have, what their intentions are." But everyone in that room was thinking the same thing. If one human fleet could destroy the Velkar Empire's greatest armada, what else were the humans capable of? The galaxy was about to find out.